I'm joined today by Rolf Gerritsen, Chief Executive of Energy and Commodity Group MetalNRG, Epic code MNRG, and BritNRG, Managing Director PierPaolo Rocco. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you both today?
Morning, Alan. Very well. How are you?
Very good, thanks indeed. Very good, thank you.
Good morning.
Morning. For viewers unfamiliar with the company, Rolf, can you firstly provide us with a bullet point overview of MetalNRG projects and investments? And I'm going to bring up a slide here for you to take us through.
The way we're organized, Alan, we have two divisions. One is a direct investment division, and the other is an indirect investment division. The direct investment division is where we have majority stakes in companies, and we're very active and involved in driving forward the value creation. Under that umbrella, we have our Goldridge project, which is a gold project in Arizona, which is currently being further developed. We have a partnership with EQTech via our MetalNRG Eco Limited, which is looking at green and sustainable energy. And we have a very interesting project in Italy, which is currently being recommissioned and should be in production probably first or second quarter of 2022. And then we have a 50% interest in BritNRG that PierPaolo, who is with us, runs. And that was an acquisition made in January. The acquisition specifically was a company called Sunswept Enterprise, which is based in Lincoln, and it's an oil and gas producing company. But we've got quite a few ambitions for them. On the indirect side, we have some smaller investments that we're not necessarily too active on at this particular point in time for either circumstances or decision. We've got an interest of 3.8% in LVG, which is Lake Victoria Gold, which is an Australian company that has interests in Tanzania, and are looking at getting a Tanzanian gold project into production over the next 12 to 18 months. And we have an interest in a company called IMC in the States, which is a uranium project in Kyrgyzstan. Not much is happening there at the moment because the country actually decided a number of years, 2 years ago, about 18 months ago, to ban all exploitation of uranium. That might be changing very, very soon. There's positive rumors coming out of country, but at the moment we're still under the suspension of the exploitation of uranium. So that's our key portfolio. At the moment, we are looking on an ongoing basis at further acquisitions. So who knows, that might change over a relatively short period of time.
I understand. Okay. And of course, there's been a key development announced today concerning BritNRG's oil production licenses in Lincolnshire. PierPaolo, can you take us through this development?
Well, so the developments didn't happen overnight. This has been part of a plan. When we took this acquisition, when we took these assets on board, we had already, a rather precise plan in mind about what to do with this. So, it was all about following the strategy and, a detailed plan that we put together. So in order to deliver on our promise.
Excellent. Okay.
Basically. And again, just a starting point. So,
Yes, of course.
Sorry.
Okay. So of course the announcement today, your barrels of oil per day production has jumped from the first part of the year, and looks very positive for the near future. Can you elaborate on where you see this going?
Yes, it does. This has been, matter of improvement, operational improvement. We have carried out substantial debottlenecking and reservoir management work, and this is where we are at this stage. We are looking to add an additional producer at this side, and as we keep saying, we go substantially defined plans to develop it next year. So this is, like I said, it's only the beginning. So there's going to be more organic growth, and as Rolf said, we are in process of discussing also acquisitions, and there should be news soon.
Excellent. Excellent.
If I may, Alan, can I just add a few key points from our perspective, and that is that we set out our store at the beginning of the year, and we said we were going to grow production. We were going to turn BritNRG into a profitable operation. But more importantly, we were going to set up a platform that would enable us to grow within the sector. And all of those three aspects within 8 months have been delivered. We've, as you correctly pointed out, increased the barrels in production. We have been fortunate because the price is gone in our favor, and I believe there might be more to come based on what you read in the market, so that there's possibly further upside there. But most importantly, we now have a platform for both organic growth and also growth for acquisitions, because we are an operator recognized by the OGA, and that opens up doors which previously were closed to us. So we are able to enter conversations that could be very interesting. And we've said before, our aim here is to get to 1,000 barrels a day.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on. PierPaolo and his team has done an excellent job, and they're putting a detailed strategy together, which is probably more medium to longer term, and we'll probably be announcing more towards the end of September.
Super. So to follow on from that, what key, if I'm an investor in the company, what key developments should I be looking out for during the second half of the year in the run up to December?
I think there's a few things here, if I may. The first is on the overall group. We've been working throughout the summer. Both PierPaolo and I were in Italy looking at the plants that we've invested in. We've got 26% of a plant which is going to be producing waste energy in partnership with EQTech. That plant is being commissioned. It should be back into production not before the end of this year, but pretty early in the next year. So that's something to look out for. There will be progress reports on that. Two, we have been working extensively on Goldridge and really driving that forward. And again, there's further updates coming on from that. There's a few cards that we've got up our sleeve that I'm not going to communicate, but keep your eyes open. There's more news coming, which is looking at the global picture of where we sit as a company, which I think investors will be finding quite interesting. And then over to PierPaolo, who can talk a little bit more about some of the key next steps at BritNRG, which are, again, going to be quite, we believe, quite significant.
Good.
Yes, we have very good planning permits for both the sites that we intend to redevelop. So one is the currently producing site, which is Whisby, and we're looking at, well, hopefully before the end of the year. So the next one is Newton-on-Trent, where our permit allows up to 5 wells. As we said, we found significant reserves in the area, and we absolutely intend to develop that. So these are all low risk operation, which we are doing. We're doing as much as practicable to make them a low cost as well. We have already a number of interesting parties to join these ventures, and yes, I think the first thing we're gonna be discussing is actually this. Plus, we might have something else on the fingers crossed.
Okay, excellent. Well, no, certainly I noted in the announcement this morning the developments at Newton and Reepham. So that's very encouraging for the company. Given this activity, how does the funding position for the company look at present, Rolf?
Look, we raised a good amount of money in May. We were very pleased with the support we received from our investors. We've invested the money wisely, I would suggest, in BritNRG is point in case. We're beginning to see returns on the investments made. From a funding perspective, we're confident and are sufficiently endowed with cash at this particular point in time. And more importantly, we are gaining confidence and gaining confidence in our ability to deliver at an operational level. And I think that's probably the most comforting aspect here, that we're building up a track record of setting out what we plan to do and then delivering against that. And I think that's absolutely critical going forward. So funding wise, we're okay, and confidence wise, I think we're building ourselves up to building that, as I said, building up that confidence in our ability to deliver.
Excellent. So we're running short on time, gentlemen. Before we go, can we just address for investors where you see the key value inflection points arriving for the company in the next 6 to 8 months?
We're gonna be giving we're gonna be seeing updates from BritNRG on the strategic side. So there's definitely, as we've stated before, the intention of driving the operations to achieve a much higher level of production. So there's ongoing both organic growth and possibly looking at some acquisitions. There's Goldridge. There's a lot of work that has gone into Goldridge. There'll be further updates coming soon on that. And there might be something, noise coming out of IMC and Kyrgyzstan might be very positive. That could really give us a boost. And uranium is a very interesting commodity at the moment and links very closely to green energy, and the pricing on it is quite good. So I think there's a number of areas that can push the company forward. There is an intention and there is a strong partnership being developed with Ecotech on building up a pipeline of assets in the waste to energy sector. And I think, again, that can help us drive forward the valuation of the organization. Looking at today, any investor that looks at the breakdown of the assets and the share price and the market cap would be wise, in my opinion, to invest in it.
So an awful lot for investors to look forward to then. So it will just remains for me to say, Rolf Gerritsen and PierPaolo Rocco of MetalNRG and BritNRG, thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Alan.